and there's adrenaline. In a couple of minutes, one of them is going to go bananas. They're going to Paris.
Let's go. This is
University lecturer Raygun wants to go.
the final of the final.
The Olympics, and Molly does too.
Those lives gonna change.
2, 1.
Let's go. Raygun, Molly, Raygun, 2-1.
Wow, it's tight.
It came down to the last round.
And go ahead and celebrate.
Yes, booking a spot in the Australian Olympic team to Paris as the sport of breaking makes its debut. So she is part of history. Dr. Rachel Raygun, welcome and congratulations. Brilliant work.
Thank you so much.
That was the moment you knew you were going. Talk me through that.
The relief.
Yeah.
It was such a build-up all day. It was, I had a number of battles to get through that day, and I was just taking it one round at a time. And when I saw the judges' votes come up, I won the first round, Molly won the second round, and oh my gosh, my heart was racing. And then I won the third round, and just like this wave of relief was immense, and my crew ran at me, and it was just such an amazing moment.
What's it mean for the sport? Because as we know, it's being introduced at Paris. I don't think LA it goes out, so it has this moment. How important is it for what you do for it to be there on display?
Oh my gosh, it's an amazing opportunity. I mean, yeah, as you said, it's not going through in LA, so this might be the only time ever. And just the opportunity to represent your country in breaking, and for the world to see what breakers can do and see those differences between the different athletes and the different countries and the skills that people have, it's such an exciting opportunity.
Rachel, how much has gender equality improved since you started the sport?
Oh yeah, definitely, a lot. Much of my research has been looking at the gender equality in breaking, and I think the Olympics has really provided a platform. Gender equality is really big, and we've just had amazing opportunities in terms of training sessions, equal opportunities to go and represent your country overseas, and I think the amount of women that are interested in breaking and are taking up breaking and are excelling in breaking has only continued to rise. It's been really exciting to see.
Rachel, when did you find out that you had the love of the sport? You started a bit later. Hoops and I have tried breaking late at night, and we're not very good. So when did you get the love of the sport?
Yeah, I was much later. So because I'd always done different styles of dance, it wasn't until I met my now husband that I was introduced to breaking when I was 20.
Wow.
And it took me a while to actually get started because it's so hard. It's really, really hard. And so the moment that I decided to really commit and try and train seriously, I was already in my mid-20s. So this was never on the cards for me. I never thought this would happen.
Wow.
And Rachel, you say that, you go back to what Candice asked on the gender equality, but you go back to when you started, you say that, that it was male-dominated.
Yeah.
And that they said that the females couldn't do, a lot of what the male athletes were doing. You've disproved that.
Yeah, I've tried to represent hard over the last 12 years and really show women that there is a space for them, and that there is a space for them to also develop their own strengths and their own style and capabilities. But there are some amazing B-girls around the world that can do what the guys can do, and it's just so awesome to watch.
Rachel, Tony mentioned off the top, you're a doctor, you've got a PhD. How do you find time to fit everything in? Like, you're going to the Olympics to represent Australia. This is obviously a cool new format, and then you're also, you got that much cracking in terms of your schedule.
Yeah, it is full on. My schedule is full on. I try to just I just have to switch between things really quickly and ensure that I'm constantly productive. But it is pretty full on, but it's great to also experience this side of breaking, but also I can take a step back and think about the broader implications in terms of how people are understanding themselves, understanding their identity, how they're relating to one another, all those sorts of cultural aspects of the dance as well. So I'm in a really privileged position to do that.
Because what we're talking about, probably out of the States, late 60s, early 70s, it emerges. So you have these battles in one-on-one to win and progress. Is there much trash talk that goes on between you?
Depends on who you're battling, but yeah, there's some people in the scene that there's quite a bit of trash talk, and and sometimes there was one battle earlier this year.
It's some in-your-face stuff going on in here too, I think, as you continue to talk.
Yeah, there was one battle actually the next day of this. It was a 4v4 format, so they're not all one-on-ones. And honestly, I think the trash talking was louder than the music.
I was going to ask about the music. How important is the DJ? Do you know what's going on? Are things choreographed or is it all just improvised?
A bit of both. You don't know the music. The DJ is mixing it live. You have no idea what's going to be played. You have a sense of you develop an ear for the musical structure. And you go in with some prepared moves and combos.
Are there set moves that have to be displayed?
No,
okay.
No, absolutely not. So that's where you get to see a lot of difference between people. Everyone is really different. And so you have to perform them in a way that shows the textures of the music and shows that you are being spontaneous, you're responding to your opponent. And maybe you need to change plans at one point as well. Maybe you were going to do your head spin, but you know that your opponent is really good at head spins, and so you're like, okay, I'm going to put that to the side. I'm going to do another move instead that shows their weakness. So there is strategy involved as well.
So for the solo battles at the Olympics, you're judged with 6 different categories. What are they? 5.
Yep. Execution, musicality, vocabulary, originality, and technique.
Wow.
Yes.
And who's bringing the heat? Is it Japan? They're good.
Yeah, Japan is very good, definitely. China's very good.
Yep.
France, Netherlands. There's a few.
What about New Zealand? Because I want to just have a look at this. Scott Robertson from the Crusaders, he likes to celebrate with a bit of breaking, as you can see.
Yeah.
Where's the worm? There we go. There we go.
Is the worm a signature move?
I haven't seen anyone do the worm for years, until now. I mean, you go, oh, okay, he's got a bit of a backspin going. Oh, attempted windmills, maybe.
It's great. There is great joy. There's great joy in it. There's great joy in watching what you do, and you must be absolutely filled with it, knowing that you're heading to Paris. Congratulations and all the best.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for dropping in here. Well done.
Thanks for having me.
The world's biggest sports carnival is done for another 4 years. Superb performances, as we said, from Australian athletes. But we begin with a performance that has become the most talked about. We were ahead of the curve on Raygun. We had Rachel Gunn on this very show late last year when she'd qualified for the Games.
Oh, wow.
Little did we know, Dan, the impact her stunning moves would have. Where do we sit on Raygun? We're proud, we're embarrassed, we're confused. What's going on in your heads?
There's a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions.
Okay.
That's probably the beginning. I was almost going to take Candice's tack from last week when she used the if Penrith was a country in reference to the Foxes of if the back page was a country. Because, of course, we've had Jess Fox, we've had Jessica Hull in sort of months gone by. And we've officially now also had the lowest place finish in the breaking, as it were, not the breakdancing. I'm going to be perfectly honest, I don't really know how to feel about this. I've gone very, very deep down the rabbit hole on conspiracy theories about how she got to Paris and why she got to Paris and her academic work and all the rest of it. So, if anything, I love that the Australian team has gotten around her and a lot of Australia has gotten around her, but we've sort of become the butt of the joke now, haven't we?
Do you think she just got a bit of stage fright? Because I've seen her in clips afterwards at the back in the village and the closing ceremony, and I feel like her moves there was almost better than what she did. Like
she looks
part
a
of
lot
the game.
looser in celebration.
Because they got around her, the Australian team,
But
because
also,
she was hassled online.
This looks not. This I don't know breaking, Tony.
This
That looks like breaking.
But
Yes.
Dan, you started the
Insane.
campaign against the tracksuit here on this very panel about 3 weeks
Well,
ago.
I do think the outfit is a big part of why she just didn't look right. Now, the kangaroo stuff and the stuff where she kind of mimicked a golden Labrador a golden retriever without meaning to. That's obviously taken our attention, but the outfit was weird when they're all wearing street clothes and she's
in a
very
Ricky
proud.
Ponting one day, outfit, and it's not the right outfit. We were talking before the show, the pants are too tight, the shirt's too tight. She needs a floppy yellow tracksuit. She needs to look more street, maybe a beanie, and it would have loosened her up a bit.
So
But
she's not gangster enough.
no, she is not gangster. That is the word.
Yeah.
And we've all seen.
I've seen it
breakers.
in the gangster, in the trying to get to the Olympics, and it wasn't a lot better, I have to say. I'm not sure it's the outfit. The problem is, She, as we saw there, she has been embraced by the Australian team because there was some nasty stuff that went around. Then we had the Prime Minister saying that, she's having a crack, which is what it's all about. Is that what the Olympics is all about? People just having a crack, or is it about excellence?
Look, I feel I'm a bit sort of split on this because there's been so many incredible achievements for the Australian team at this Olympic Games, yet I feel like Raygun is sort of the most memorable moment and something that's going to stick with us. And that's not what the Olympic Games is about, about taking the mickey out of someone. It's about praising their performance, whether they get a gold medal or whether they just achieve and do their PB. So, yeah, I'm torn.
Yeah, you're right. It's not the school sports. It's about higher, faster, stronger. And Raygun's performance was none of those things. She got a 0. But still, I'm very protective of her. And when, Jimmy Fallon decides to mock her...
Well, let's
and
have
she
a look,
gets
actually, because if you wondered just how global a sensation she's become, this is The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon.
How are you feeling since your performance? Oh my God, no. Okay, yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us? Yeah, that one. Me? You want me to dance with you? All right, I can do that.
That's global.
It's global, it's viral. I think it's an interesting conversation because when it comes to athletes from other sports that have been excluded from the Olympic Games, particularly this year. Like, I know of athletes that are, play baseball, and that's obviously coming back in a few years' time, that I think look at this, their sport's not in it, they don't have the opportunity to be in Paris. I mean, it's not Raygun's fault. Breaking was introduced for this 1 year. She's just there to compete in a sport that, we haven't...
Is she our best, though? Is she our best
she won.
break dancer?
She qualified.
Yeah.
Is the...
I feel like I've seen better.
I've seen better busking on the streets of Melbourne and Sydney, where people are going into full head spins, spinning on their back, breaking into freezers.
I was going to say, those people are on meth, who you're talking about.
Look, is that a performance-enhancing drug at the Olympics? I ask you that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut on.
As we mentioned, we had Raygun on the show back in November last year, and she admitted she only got into breaking relatively late in life. Have a listen.
I was introduced to breaking when I was 20.
Wow.
And it took me a while to actually get started because it's so hard. It's really, really hard. And so the moment that I decided to really commit and try and train seriously, I was already in my mid-20s. So this was never on the cards for me. I never thought this would happen.
So she came to it, obviously late in life, giving it a crack.
Let me ask you, what was your impression of her? Because Lauren said it, we're all waiting to sort of get a sense of who she is before we really make judgment. What sense did you get of her?
Did we applaud her or did we laugh?
No, we didn't. What do you mean? When she came on the show?
No, not on the show, but I'm just saying when we saw the performance, were we...
I was a bit shocked.
I don't know, I was under the couch.
I expected world-class breaking, but then there was something about her, probably coming from my inferiority complex as a sports person, that embraced her. And, she was a moment of light. But it's not a school sports, and it's not everyone can have a crack.
You mentioned that moment of life, because just have a listen to Adele. She's talking about her. This is in the middle of one of her concerts.
Did anyone see the breakdancing lady yesterday from the Olympics? Now, I didn't even know the breakdancing was even an Olympic sport these days. I think that's fantastic. I really, really do. I knew that skateboarding had become an Olympic one. Have you seen it, Eric? Have you seen it, guys? See, you have, of course, Van hasn't seen it. Aaron, my percussionist, is pissing himself laughing, just thinking about it. I can't work out if it was a joke, but either way, it has made me very, very happy, and me and my friends have been ourselves laughing.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool, isn't it? And the person who won the breaking gold medal is somewhere hiding in anonymity. Nobody knows who they are.
Quickly, I know you've got to move on. We will judge this lady on when we work out what her motive was. If it was for academia or to try and be a celebrity, we're going to come down harshly. If she's just an Aussie having a go and she wasn't very good,
I don't get
I
a
think
sense.
I think we're gonna like her.
Yeah, I certainly don't get a sense it was the celebrity idea.
I don't think so either.
No.
There's prank being used a lot, but I don't think it was. I think she's genuine.
The social media stuff wasn't all cruel, by the way. Some of it was just pretty funny, like these ones where the wild things.
Yes.
What is that move that she's doing? Because that's not the kangaroo.
No, it's not the kangaroo, is it? And just putting it in the pole vault is very good. And Scooby-Doo, quite like. This is my favourite. Twister.
That
If
is not
nothing else-
as easy as it looks. No. Wrap your arm around your other arm and try and grab your chin. You need some flexibility.
I'm not going to do it now.